Well, I guess this is it. Until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. I'll say that again. Well, folks, I said until the lions have their own historians, the tales of hunting would always glorify the hunter. Well, hello and welcome to the most opinionated hour on radio and the nation's thought-provoking hour. My name is Nana Ansakwa IV, Chief of the Cut-Off Republic of Edumasa. Oh yes, I've been cut off from civilization. Cut off from civilization. Welcome to another edition of That's My Opinion. Well, today's show is strictly for those who are Ghanaians first. So if you happen to have any tag before you being a Ghanaian, please forgive me. This is not your show. Oh no, this is not your show. Folks, also, in order that I get the message across, I would have to be blunt, very, very frank, and this may come across as offensive. But I guess that's where we are. We are in the offensive times. So, what would I say? Buckle up, buckle up. It's a rough road ahead. But before I start, folks, the little Republic of Edumasa was cut off from civilization on Saturday after rainfall. Then my phone starts buzzing. My citizens who refuse to be spectators start demanding from me, the traditional leader, a good road. Can you imagine? Everybody, and I'm thinking, don't you know where you pay your taxes? But then, what can you do? You need to do it. Now, from Akosombo through to Sapo, to Ajuna, to Edumasa, through to Jekiti, Enyasi, beyond, all the way to Kudikope. You know, we are in a beautiful peninsula. What, 24 kilometers at a stretch, 3.5 years. And the road is being on the perpetual construction, 24 kilometers. And it's a hell for those of us who live there. Absolute hell. gone through the previous administration to current administration, and the road just can't be finished. Now, this is the sad story, folks. Each time the contractor will come on the road, will pile on laterite upon laterite, tracks upon tracks. And you can tell, even from the layman, that, there's a lot of investment going in. Compact it, leave it, and then the rains will come and wash the road away. And then they will come back, fill the road up again, and then they will leave it and it washes again. And the last time they came, indeed, they did a hell of a job. Guess what? They left it. The rains are coming and it's washing off again. And it's washing off again. So you want to answer, how much are we spending in just this refilling and surfacing of this road? Because I know very soon the constructor will come up with a bill and we'll all get up and say, oh no, this was corruption. How could it cost that much? But I guess this is what happens. Just on and on and on and on and on. And anytime you approach, the DC and complain, you would expect they empathize with you. They rather, sort of get into bed with the government, and then they're fighting you, getting upset. And that's what I can't seem to get. That's what I can't seem to get. Because we all use the road. There's nice 1D, 1F just down the road, and I'm sure they also need the road to access it. There's a big hotel coming up. Massive hotel coming up around there. They will need this road, to open it up. And so I am pleading and I'm pleading and I'm pleading that, look, this thing has to be done. And you know what? I'm not going to keep quiet until it's done. Because the amount of money spent on just refilling this road, only God knows. Well, so that's one unfortunate story, but this one will make you smile before we turn up the heat. Folks, 27th of January, I was a guest speaker at the Heavenly Trumpets inauguration. It's a big choir, very fancy choir group thing. A very nice event, beautiful group, and many choral groups were invited. Now, one of them was from Ejumako, the Ejumako District Youth Choir. Now, the whole thing, they seem to be the only choir not led by their leader or conductor. As they were coming up the stage, they were just going up the stage. But then there was a man following them, folks. He had serious challenges in walking, serious challenge in walking. No one helped him. Just managed the stairs by himself. And he had the broadest of smile and he was full of life in spite of his challenge. Folks, he was the leader. And my God, did they move the crowd? Oh, I tell you, they moved the crowd, and his name was Mr. Joseph Aqua. Boy, oh boy. And his name is Bayo. I did a little investigation and I hear he's called Bayo. Now that's his nickname, Bayo. I had tears in my eyes. Folks, even though obviously, he was challenging his legs, he smiled and he danced. He was full of life, and the whole hall was up on their feet dancing. So I just wanted to use this opportunity to say, well done, Sir Joseph Aqua, well done. And I hope we all have something to learn from you. And to all the people of College of Music, SHS at Gomwa Esiam, where he teaches, well done to you too. And the Ejumako Youth Choir, you did so well. So let me take this opportunity to just say well done to you. Folks, but before settling on today's topic, these were some of the topics I chose. Once upon a time, there was Ghana. And then I cancelled it. Foolishness has brought us peace. Was another topic I chose. Foolishness has brought us peace. And then the gospel according to NPDC. The gospel according to politics. However, since there is wisdom in our ancestry, I chose and I settled with Funtum Funafu, Denchem Funtumfu. Funtum Funafu, Denchem Funafu. The Siamese crocodile. Oh yes, the Siamese crocodile. Folks, from the Ayawasu widow to the Ayawasu masked men and all the happenings lately have enforced a new chapter in our politics. A dangerous chapter. If we treat it as we do all things, blame game here and there, who is more guilty than the other, MPP versus NDC, perpetual investigations with no report, then we end with a prayer vigil for God to intervene. If we go that way, we shall be overtaken by events. We shall be overtaken by events. Folks, Sierra Leone before the war was one of the most peaceful countries in the world. Liberia before the war was one of the happiest places to be in the world. Every elastic has a breaking point. Every tolerance has a limit, no matter what. There comes a time when people get sick and tired of always being sick and tired. And at that point, at that time, egos and tempers and rage will be out of control. And you will be surprised how easy and quick it is to destroy things that have taken centuries and years to build. They will knock them down in a few minutes. Cultures, habits, traditions will be destroyed. Folks, abundance is a big blessing and a covert curse. Abundance is a huge blessing, but has a covert curse attached to it. You will not see that side of abundance until it's too late. So if you are blessed with abundance as we are, you don't wise up. If you don't wise up to look deep at the curse that it brings with it, folks, you'll be overtaken by events. For we will all be living a big life of big regrets if we don't look closely, folks. We will have life of massive regrets, perpetual regrets. Folks, we have so much peace, we actually go out and create needless wars for ourselves. Oh yes, we have abundance peace, so we go out and create needless wars. When you have too much of something, it is very, very difficult to guard, protect, value, or even try to economize on whatever it is. When you have abundance of something. This curse has affected us in so many aspects of our lives. Now it's creeping into our peace. Folks, now it's creeping into our peace. My prayer is that we wake up before it's too late. Funtum funafu, denchem funafu, the Siamese crocodile. Our forebears talked about a crocodile with two heads but one stomach. Yet any time they eat, it was a big fight. Yes, a big fight to eat into the same stomach. This was the idea. This was the symbol of unity and democracy. That's how they understood democracy. If we are all in it for the common good, then why the big fight? Yes, we may disagree, but infighting, tribalism, slaps, gunshot, masks, folks, this is a sure way to go down. It's a fine recipe for disaster. So I want to appeal to the youth who follow such politicians. And as I said from the beginning, I have to be very, very frank with you. In order that my message will sink in. So please forgive me. Yes, you are called because your biceps are huge. You're called because, you stand tall and you look fierce and menace. Yes, you are called because you may believe in their ideology. If you think there's any ideology between these two parties, no problem. But you may be called because of that. But believe me, above all, you're called because you're foolish. Folks, believe me, above all of your biceps and your standing tall and everything, you're called because you are the foolish ones. Yes, because if this mission had any good thing to come about, trust me, they have children who would have benefited from it. Folks, you're fraud because you know what Jimmy. The credit, yeah. I cry what Jimmy in your fraud. Because if there was money, if there was a pot of gold, believe you me, they wouldn't have needed your biceps and you wouldn't even know about it. And that's the reality. If there was anything good, they also have children. Some of the children even schooling in the best schools outside. Think about it. Why didn't they know there was elections coming up while their kids were in school? If it was that important, why do you think the kids are not down here? But it is this foolishness too that has given us some peace, and I'll explain to you why. Folks, as we speak now, most pro-MPP SICO fans will have a reason to justify what happened in Ayawaso. They don't see the big deal, after all, the mask and so what. Have you forgotten about Triponi? And then in the days of the Triponi, the shoe will be on the other foot and the others will say, oh, have you forgotten about it, Tiwa? Folks, this lameness contributes to our peace. Because the day the youth detach themselves from their labels and notice that they are being taken for a ride, the day they forget about their stomachs, the day they start thinking beyond today, I don't know if we will have any Ghana left. Because in all fairness, if this country was worth dying for, like the ones we queue up in the sun outside of their embassies only to get a permit to go to their places or countries to go and sweep their floors. These countries were like them. Then all political youth leaders should have by now issued a strong joint statement to condemn and send a strong warning to whoever pulled that stance that never again will we be bullied and insulted like that. All the political youth leaders should have come out with a statement now saying that never again are we going to be bullied and insulted in this manner. And then after that, folks, I would love to hear the National House of Chiefs, the Otumfuo, the Osajifo, the New Yana, and many great other chiefs, traditional rulers who are ruling things outside of the cities. The clergy should all voice out that this is below the belt. This was off the mark. Now, we don't care if it's been done before. We don't care who did it or where it happened. Never again. We should all say never again. Indeed, we shouldn't even, the media houses shouldn't give your platform for any sort of explanation. If you can't come in and apologize and say never again, just get out. That's what we should all say. This is not time for political explanations to create, create a show. Get out. If you can't come and apologize and join in the never again campaign, just get out of the studio. But guess what? Guess what we are hearing with impunity? 2020, boot for boot, mask for mask, blouse for blouse, God knows what for what. Now all these masks and boots, folks, it's not to get paved roads, reduce accidents on our road, good schools, equipped hospitals, a country where the disabled are given equal chance, where there's leadership with prudence and humility. No! It's a chance to ride in the V8 at our cost. And who gets to ride in it? Get wealthy overnight. Get important overnight. And govern literally from ballot box to ballot box. So to the MPP and the NDC, just like the Siamese crocodile. It's the same Ghana that you claim you want to fix. What is the big fight if there's not something in the pot for you? And that's what I want the youth to think about and ponder about. What at all is in that pot that always generates these fights? Folks, before I go to the phones, 2 senior police officers, including my own friend Dr. Henning, have warned and cautioned us about the structure of our security services, how compromised it is, to the extent that when you are in opposition, you can't trust them. Therefore, you need some macho men for protection. What are we all doing about it to change that structure? Folks, in the wisdom of our ancestry, folks, since we are dipping deep into wisdom to save our country, the Ankobi Ahene is the head of security. Our forebears, knowing how sensitive this position is, they clothe him with exclusive powers where he, after installment, owed allegiance to no one and no one owes allegiance to him, not even the chief who installed him. Now this was to give him exclusive and the free mind to work. His position was almost guaranteed. Because for a security couple who's going to give you information, you can't make him a bootlegger. Where his tenure of office was dependent on somebody, whether he was going to call depending on somebody, then he will give you information depending on somebody. And that had been thought of many, many, many years before our time. Folks, there is nothing more worrying than a security couple who's a bootlegger. So, folks, I want you to join me in saying never again. So please do not call me to pitch one party against the other. Save your units if that's what you want to do. Maybe I'll do another show for you. But today, it's never again. And if you have any ideas or somehow you can rally us all together to say never again, that's what I want to hear. I don't want finger pointing and references as to somebody did it here or somebody did worse. I don't care. It's all wrong. What's wrong is wrong. So let those who love Ghana call in and say never again. It's 0302 216 541. Okay, let me see. Who's my first caller?
This is Ajman Joseph. Come tonight, man.
Talk to me, my brother.
And good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, and you are touching on a very sensitive issue.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes I look at myself and I say, no, am I fortunate to be a Ghanaian or is it a curse to be a Ghanaian? We are joking with our lives and our security. But we are also, always told in our minds that we are in a peaceful country. But there's no country that has been written war zone country. It's because of these kind of petty things that rise up, then war starts coming. And this kind of election malpractices and vulgarism. I'm very sad to hear that during this political party time, it happened. So if it is happening within this month's period, it's okay. Why should it be okay? I don't mind people saying that, it is this party, or it is your party. These counter accusations will not help. But at the end of the day, we see ourselves being, cheated on by the police or the security personnel. The security personnel are there for Ghanaians, not for a particular party. So if this party is on and the security will look on for things to happen, then by the end of the day, they failed us. They failed us. To me, I wish the security agency shouldn't be controlled by the government. It should be an independent body so that they owe us allegiance of how they should, handle the security services in the country. And another person to come. God be with you.
Thank you very much. Let me go to the phone, and I think Stephen is on the phone. Hello, Stephen.
Yes, Nana, good evening.
I think never again and enough is enough.
Yes. It seems we are benefiting from the wisdom of the drafters of the Constitution. And I always say the wisdom of the drafters of the 1992 Constitution. For me, the constitution that was written to cajole Jerry Rawlings to become democratic. And ever since, we've not taken serious attempts at changing it. The IGP is appointed by the president. That is what the problem is. The constitution of the national security and all these issues related to where we are, it's a partisan one. We should be clear on that. And that's the real issue. So what we saw at Trapone and all those places, and these are symptoms of a constitutional disorder based on how the drafters of the constitution constructed the constitution. So, for me, if we really want to have an end to this problem, let's go back to the constitution and change it. If we don't change the constitutional order, we are going to have serious issues. Look, boot for boot. Who is saying this at this time? Mr. Mahama, what is he now? In opposition. All that be die. Boot for boot. Who said it in the past? The current president. Where was he? In opposition. So you see, in opposition, we don't trust the police. In government, we cannot say all that be die or boot for boot. That is what the problem is. If we don't change the constitution, and we are going nowhere, we will have recurrence of this situation, and nothing can be done. Let's go back and change the constitution. The IGP should not be appointed by the president, and the constitution and the constitution of all security agencies should not be done by the party in power. That will be the only way out. Otherwise, we are heading towards a disaster. Thank you.
I couldn't agree with you more, but here in Tesano is Kofi. Hello, Kofi.
Hi, Nana.
Yes,
Good evening.
Kofi. Good evening, Kofi.
I hope you're doing well.
I'm great, Kofi.
You see, I think we've gotten to a point in not just Ghana, but this sub-region. There's a lot of foolishness and that is going on. See, these things have gone on for several years, but we need leadership where at a certain point, somebody comes in and change the dynamic. Look at Paul Kagame in Rwanda, in Africa here, and we are hailing them for all the good things they're doing. We are here. We've lived in the United States before. Most of these government, the politicians, from Nanado to whoever, Mahama, and all of them, a lot of them have studied outside, stayed there several years, more than some of us. You see, when they came into, or when this government or this present administration came into government, have the opportunity to say, look, we are going to do things differently. But it's the same status quo. All right, from cars are stolen from the Flagstaff House, nothing is going on. Look at what just recently in the United States where Roger Stone, the FBI raided Stone. You know, when there is crime, how we tackle it. You say there are ammunition. Is that on election day we go and tackle this and cause mayhem and all these hooded people? How can we, we need leadership where you come in, even though we are in a democratic system, you come in and say, look, you don't pee here, you empower the police. If you pee on this side, you get arrested. If you do this, is this. But if we come in and do the same thing over and repeat, the other government or administration comes and say, oh, well, you did that, so we're also going to arrest you or we're going to do this. It's a pursuit. So for me, what I think is that even though previous governments were all complicit, I blame the one president.
Thank you very much. Let me go to East Legon, and Godwin is there. Hello, Godwin.
Hello, Nana. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, Godwin.
Nana, enough is enough.
Oh.
The talk is enough. I remember we going for demonstration on this doomsday stuff. Can we date a time and like Takoradi when Friday I hear they went on a vigil. Let's demand a change in our constitution. Now get us a date and a time and let's see how many will honor this with our torchlights or our candles. Good night, sir.
Good night, and stay tuned. Sarah Isingbawe. Hello, Sarah.
Yes, hello, Nana. Good evening.
Good evening, Sarah.
You really said it all. You have said it all. And I wish this program would be aired in almost all the languages. Because as the station's name stands, the station for discerning people, And I wonder whether all these people who commit these atrocities in the nation, listen, in fact, God bless you, and may fire burn them all.
God bless you. God bless you too for tuning in. I appreciate. God bless you too for tuning in. This one says, Nana, in all honesty, we are fed up with MPP NDC of this country. I've always maintained the politicians of this country fight to lead us for their own selfish interests. Sadly, on the day of the anarchy, the politicians causing the mayhem will definitely have escape routes. The communication minister was eloquently on air saying no one could do FOCO ARI, the violence will abandon their foot soldiers to join those of us with no political affiliation to be dealt with by the angry mob. Enough is enough. Nana and Spintex Road. But Amadou is on the phone. Hello, Amadou.
Yes, Nana.
Yes, boss.
I'm indeed happy to get through to you to talk to the man that I really love listening to.
Thank you.
Indeed, Nana, God bless you.
Thank you.
Indeed, Nana, the day I saw in the social media, I saw this policeman, this young man walking in front of the policeman, no provoking, shot at the leg. Nana, I since then, I always feel I'm the one they shot at. Nana, never again should we go this way. Nana, indeed, whenever I sit down and think in the next 3, 5 years, 10 years, can we always be lucky, Nana? Indeed, every Ghanaian should join you to tell whoever those politicians, never again. Our Ghana is really moving into the dish. Nana, save us, pick us out of the dish. Thank you very much, Nana, this evening.
Thank you too, my brother. Thank you so much. But in Oyibi, Andrew is there. Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
Hello, Andrew.
Yeah.
Let me hear you.
Yeah, good evening. And I also want to add my voice to say that enough is enough.
Yeah.
I have had opportunity of, conducting studies into countering violent extremism in West Africa and the Sahel. And, I came across some of the root causes. And most of the instances, the root causes started with these vigilantism groups that we sort of take so lightly. The most pressing issue is this. Now there is that impression out there that a group of vigilante boys were armed by the state and so on, and we all know what happened. But the most pressing issue is this. How are we going to make sure that we reclaim the arms and the ammunition that we give to these guys? How effectively are we going to do that? How are we going to disarm them? So, at the end of the day, we are not really sure. The police does not know them, the national security, there's all these arguments and so on and so forth. We don't know who armed them, but we know that arms and ammunition have found themselves in the hands of the wrong people. Secondly, I want to go to the other aspect that has to do with people trying to politicize it. I came across a friend's comment on Facebook, and he was kind of describing the kind of slaps that were being issued to MP. And I asked him, I said, my brother, look, this is not funny. So if an MP is giving these slaps that you kind of have decided to categorize, what do you think will happen to you and me, ordinary men like you and me?
There's lots of people on the line. Ernest is in Adenta. Hello, Ernest.
Yeah.
Hi, Ernest, let me hear you.
Yes, Nana. Enough indeed is enough.
Yeah.
And I think that we've even had more than enough. I wonder over the unfortunate events of recent years. And I have been asking myself the question, what crime the suffering taxpayers of this country have committed? If we would work so hard and our monies are used to, for instance, equip the police, which, of course, the expectation being that they would then be able to, better protect us. And we are having all these issues across the country. Police turning the guns, the very ammunition that they have been given to them, onto the citizenry. And meanwhile, you have cases of land guards who are robbing genuine owners of their land, and when the case goes to the police, it's like virtually nothing happens. We have people being kidnapped, and it's like we've just thrown our hands up in the air. And I think, it is really time that maybe some people in top positions are charged with criminal negligence of duty. I think that the critical mass must wake up.
We should, and we should definitely. This one is from Ben Danso. From Anum, lives in the Kropon. Nana, from what is going on in our political circles, I have decided not to waste my time in joining queues to vote for any politician. It's obvious they are there for their bellies, not for our well-being. And that's why they keep fighting one another. When I saw the brutality, I said, wow, all these for power? I'm still astonished. Talking about roads in the Sujamine, the least said about it, the better. The Enumbusu road is simply not motorable, but the politicians care not. However, when election time comes, these areas, in these areas, the hope of the current government, God save us. This is Ben Nanumba. Joseph is on the phone. Hello, Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Joseph, let me hear you.
Yeah, Nana, good evening.
Good evening, Joe.
Nana, God bless you so much.
God bless you too, my
Indeed, brother. Never again, and enough is enough. As a young man listening to you, Nana, I saw your advert on Facebook, and I decided not to watch TV news, but to listen to you, because you make a lot of sense.
Thank you.
And then I think that, Nana, just imagine Joy FM dedicating this program, playing it time and again. Can you imagine the impact it will make? They should play it in the morning show, play it in mid-morning, play it in the drive. It will make a great impact so that the youth of this country will come to understand that enough is just enough. We are not living because of NDC or NPP. We just want responsible leaders to take charge of the affairs of the country, but not to allow young people to be insulting one another on social media, and everybody's defensive. It doesn't make sense. And I agree with you. Never again. Enough is just enough. Thank you very much, Nana.
Thank you too. I just hope that the youth will come together and send this message out, and we all join hands together. But then again, if I'm talking about governance and enough is enough and never again, there's a man who knows a thing or two about that. Dr. Bright Akwete. Hello, sir.
Hey, I'm not from Bright Akwete. With Emmanuel.
Hey, why did they put Bright there? Yes, of course.
It's my brother. It's my brother, my beloved brother.
I see. They apologize. They apologize.
Emmanuel, okay, so Emmanuel Akwete.
Of course.
My brother is a lawyer.
Okay.
Okay, and I do my political science.
Ah, good.
Okay. Listen, just a short contribution.
Sure.
I just want to encourage the youth that they have to be citizens and they should not back off or chicken out because of the problems we are having. The reason is that they are the majority voters of the society and of the country. The future is theirs. Now, the power they have to bring about change is their vote. Do they know? Have you seen how during elections, the politicians from presidential candidates to the least candidates at the parliamentary level beg them for forgiveness for whatever they have done? And some also try to give money and so on because the power of the vote they have. Now is the time for them to exercise that, to send a clear message to the politicians. Now, how would they do that? You know, I've heard people saying that if they boycott the vote, they are actually going to empower the system. It means that they are disempowering themselves. So the people who like the system the way it's operating are the ones who would make sure they will join the queues to vote. Because their boycotting would not mean that if you voted, they will be disqualified or the results will be disqualified. So they should think highly and ask themselves, what must they do? What should they know to be part of the process of changing what is going on? And I heard people talk about constitutional amendment and so on. In fact, there's constitutional amendment coming that would impact on political parties. In September this year, 2019, there would be an amendment of Article 55(3), and that amendment would touch political parties. Because do you know that political parties in this country, apart from elections, are not regulated? And nobody can disqualify them because there is no regulatory authority like the Bank of Ghana would do in the financial sector, or like the Security Exchange Commission, or you have, well, in football, you know, you have FIFA, but GBA has issues, and so on. So I don't want to emphasize that too much. But where is the regulator of parties? Elections is for EC, not necessarily the parties, when their behavior is not about elections. So first of all, 26 years has taught us that our parties, the framework that must govern them and make them do what we want, does not exist. We must now, they have done some positive things. I mean, the stability of but this behavior of increasing resort to violence and mobilizing vigilantes or unemployed boys and so on is business. It has nothing to do with democracy. And so they must get involved in the process of amending the Constitution and the process of putting a regulatory framework. Because of their votes, they can put a lot of pressure on the political parties and let them know that they want regulation. And there will be regulation. It's part of the deal. Besides, this is my last point. Do you know how we got a stable electoral politics? The political parties, not only the NDC and the MPP and other parties, got into conversations about the issues, they dialogued, they disagreed, but they also found agreement, they compromised, and decided to do changes that would change the system. That is how come we got electoral reforms from 1994, 95 up to this day. IPAC. So democracy requires conversations between the parties, agreement on what will work for all of us that society does not agree or does not like. How do we agree to solve those problems and so on? There is no such framework for the parties and their behavior outside elections. IPAC only deals with electoral issues. What about the parties carrying guns? What about the corruption we are seeing? What about the vote buying that they don't comply to? What about the failure to give us accountable governance? That process of talking to find solutions is what democratic culture uses, so that if those who don't comply will be sanctioned and the laws will be enforced. This is not happening. And these are the things we must ensure happen rather than boycotting. So we would like to encourage the youth that this is the time they have great opportunity to be part of the reform movement, to bring about the governance framework that will allow, enable, and compel parties to work for the interest of the people.
Thank you.
And it would involve them taking part in the development process as well.
Thank you very much, Dr. Emmanuel Akwete, Executive Director, IDEC. Nkansa is in Agogo. Let me apologize for keeping you on hold for a bit longer. Thank you. Sorry, Nkansa.
Yeah, good evening, Anna.
Good evening. I'm sorry for keeping you hold.
Oh, I was even enjoying the contribution of the man on phone.
Oh, thank you.
What I want to say is never again, never ever again. Mm-hmm. But once we are saying that, there's one thing that we should bear in mind. Last Saturday, I was listening to News 5, and I really enjoyed the comments by Kofi Boakye and the other policeman. I've forgotten the name.
Yeah.
If we want to make sure that this thing does not happen again, as we are saying, then the onus lies on us to make sure that we strengthen the security personnel. Because if you listen to what the security personnel were talking about last Saturday, my brother, if we don't sit up and look at that particular portion of our constitution very critically. What is going to happen in Ghana, we cannot contain it. Good evening.
Good evening, good evening, good evening to you. I mean, if you can imagine those back in the days, J.B. Dankwa and Nkrumah and all these guys, right? They had no WhatsApp, no Facebook, nothing, and they could move a whole nation. They could move a whole nation towards a goal. And look at us, WhatsApp, this, that. I mean, within 5 minutes, you can reach 2,000 people, nothing. We can't even get a street light. The youth of today can't even move to get kenke. If you compare how those people were able to move from Accra, they move people all over the nation, just through letters and posts and God knows when. Hello, Kosi.
Yeah, hello.
Kosi, good evening.
Good evening.
Let me hear.
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm very well.
Okay. I wanted to say never again, but while I'm saying that, I just want to say that I think we need to look at in our country the fact that state agencies are not working. And this goes because you want to talk about NDC, you want to talk about MPP, you can say until we can get our state agencies to work for us, we'll continue to have such problems in our country. I mean, look at the course of the last 2 months, from the banking industry to the issues in men's gold, to the kidnapping, to what we are talking about now in terms of what happened in the recent by-election. In every sphere of what we've spoken about is because of the inability of the state agencies to function, whether it's the police service, whether it's the Bank of Ghana, whether it's, I mean, everything is about the state agencies. So when you go to places like America and all that, yes, they might have very strong political parties, like you've got the Republicans, the Democrats, but there are some standards that are kept, whether it be a Republican Party in power or it's a Democrat Party in power. The fact is that this is how things are supposed to be done in America, and that is how it is done. It doesn't matter whether you belong to any part of the political divide. So we can be able to change our ways in that particular regard. It will help to change things in our country. We're all not happy to hear the likes of John Dramani Mahama and Esla Uzo make all those kinds of comments. I think that is not in good taste. We have to look at things a bit more from the nationalistic point of view, because this country is for all of us. When it goes bad, you and I will be in trouble. These politicians will probably find their ways out of the country. Probably there will be a one-way ticket out of this country. So that's what I have to say.
Thank you very much. And I tell you what, folks, if there's a row here, you better move up, because all these other guys speak French, and all the French guys somehow can manage, one or two, vocabulary in English. For us, we can't even string a sentence in French. And they will not be as hospitable as we are, where you go and sit in some Budumbram and start selling their lands. I mean, you go to the Liberians are selling land in Budumbram free. This is Ghana. They will not allow us to get you a Budumbram in Ivory Coast. Sure, they will let you know you are a refugee. So when they say this is our only Ghana, I tell you what, this is our only Ghana. We have two things. Either you learn to speak French immediately or you learn to swim, because that's it. Either you are hiking the Atlantic and swimming away, or you are going to neighboring countries to speak French. We don't have a choice but to make this work. And it will be very, very, very sad. Very, very, very sad. As way back 1936, Efrimamu cautioned us in his song Yanum Ebibrima. Timonte ni abei, Timunhu di abei, Amainina kwejaye. Amainina eko ejaye. Se wusia ubehu, se wutu unaya onsu ubekobi. And above all, enimguasi mfata ubipiniba. For those who don't understand Chi, 1936, Efrimamu in his song Yanum Ebibrima, as in Yanum the black man. Have you not seen that all nations are leaving you behind? It's nothing that if you learn, you would also gather wisdom. And if you take a foot, if you take a step, you would also inch forward towards progress. Because it is the most biggest taboo is for the black man to be disgraced, to sit there and become a beggar, from begging bowl to begging bowl. He says it's a disgrace to the black man. And so Efrimamu cautions and urges us that we should also learn and we should also make the effort But this ballot box to ballot box business, this 4-year to 4-year business, well, those of you who follow me on social media, you realize I was blasting and getting angry over my road where my DC just sent me a message. Said, what happened is a natural occurrence, just as happened on the Abri Road. The debris were cleared the same day after the downpour to make way for vehicles. The avalanche has gotten nothing to do with the condition of the road. It could still occur anyway. The consolation part is VRA has inspected the site for some remedy to be undertaking, and above all, the contractor is resuming work this week. See, that's the posture that I don't seem to get. It's been 3.5 years, 24-kilometer road. Every day they are filling with laterite, and I'm going to write a letter to the council. I want to see the bill of, of how much it's cost so far just putting laterite. I think as a stakeholder, I'm entitled to it. And then we'll sit down and find out, is this cost, is it not financial loss, causing financial loss to the state? But thank you, Mr. DC, if you have done the road. But you and I know that there's a lot more needed to be done on that road. Folks, my name is Nana Ansakwa IV. This was another edition of That's My Opinion. Until I come to you Monday at 7 o'clock, hang in there. Kwakuma News in his fine voice going to give you the news bulletin. Overdrive is up next with Sammy Forson, the one and only Sammy Forson. It's been beautiful having you on the show.